Welcome into a special edition of Locked On Hoosiers, where I have the chance to sit down with Mark Alesia, who is the documentarian and the producer of the upcoming documentary on Don Fischer, the legendary voice of Indiana football and basketball. It's called Timeless, Don Fischer's Half-Century Broadcasting IU Sports. It premieres this Friday, a special showing Thursday inside of Assembly Hall, and we talk all about it right now.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. Thank you so much for being here and making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. And a very special guest joining us on the show today because a special thing happening this week. I'm sure most of you have heard about it by now. A documentary coming out this Friday about the legendary voice of Indiana athletics, Don Fischer. And it's called Timeless, Don Fischer, his half-century broadcasting IU Sports. And we are lucky enough to have the documentarian and the guy behind this documentary, Mark Alesia, with us on the show. Man, thank you so much for doing this and taking the time. I know this week is busy. I know it's stressful, but I know it's exciting as well because the premiere is this Friday. So thank you and congratulations for what this has become.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We have a screening on Thursday at Assembly Hall, a free screening, 7 p.m. On the scoreboard. So that'll be the first time it'll be available publicly. And then the premiere is at 6:30 on Friday on WTIU. And it should be available online this weekend. And various stations in public media stations in Indiana and anywhere else that wants it. We'll probably put it on sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there's, again, just so much excitement around this. Again, it's called Timeless, Don Fischer's Half-Century Broadcasting IU Sports. And Mark, you are the senior news editor at Indiana Public Media. And so a perfect opportunity for you to kind of spearhead this entire project. What inspired you to create this and the people involved in this? Why are you putting this together right now?
Well, first of all, I'm an IU grad. And I covered some of the games that we have clips on in the film. So from 84, I covered the 84 North Carolina game where they beat Jordan. And I was in the stands for the chair toss. So, and now I'm back working on campus. I was a sports writer for 20, 30 years. And so I'm connected to this stuff, and I've known of Don for a long time. But what really started it was not last season. Last season there were a lot of times where there were tributes to Don during the broadcasts. You saw it even in the national championship game. How many tens of millions of people saw Don calling the interception that sealed the game? How great was that? But anyways, what started this was the year prior, the 24 season, when everything was getting great and surprising everyone. There was a similar tribute, much like, like I said, there were a lot of these last year. CBS did one. We start the documentary with that, actually. But the year before there was one. I can't remember which it was, but I heard it and I thought, oh, we have got to do this. And so I emailed my boss that night. I think it was a Saturday night. And I said, we have to do this. And it's been a joy.
Yeah, well, I know the documentary is going to highlight his impact, Don Fischer's impact on Indiana athletics and the fan base and everything that's involved with that. But in your opinion, Mark, how has he impacted Indiana University and its fans? And that's on and off the microphone. In your perspective, how has he impacted just IU as a whole during his very long tenure?
Well, I mean, there's the obvious. He's going into his 54th season.
It's insane.
I had just turned 10 when he did his first game. Now look at me. But you look at him, and we have Curt Cignetti saying he looks younger every day to me. That's one of the things Cignetti says in the doc. But it's a voice that spans generations. It's a voice that is connected to all these great moments. But one of the things that Scott Dolson says in the documentary is Don is like our comfort food. When things aren't going well, everybody listens. And he's in the room, or you hear his voice at a game, it's going to be okay. And I thought that was perfect, because he's the same every day. That's what everybody we interviewed said. And we talk in the documentary, there's a quote, there's no fake in him. And I think that's true. And if you look, I think we document this. If you see all the people who come up to him for pictures and autographs, selfies, everything. I was stunned. The one where we really shot him behind the scenes was the Chicago State game, like 5 days before Christmas, I think. And there were a ton of people who wanted pictures, autographs, the whole deal. He means so much to IU, and I'm not sure there will be another person like him. I mean, will there even be radio play-by-play in 54 more years? Who knows where it's going?
Right. Yeah. And he's made his impact over all of those years. And I think I read a stat in preparing for our conversation, over 2,200 games that Don Fischer has called during his time as the voice of IU. I mean, that's you can't even wrap your head around that, Mark. That's unbelievable.
Right. But I've got another stat for you. IU has the largest living alumni base, I think, in the world, they're saying, definitely the country. Out of those 800,000 people, 93% were at IU in school while Don was calling the games.
That's ridiculous. That's insane.
And, somebody else in the doc came up to him and just said, "You keep me connected to my roots."
Wow.
And that was perfect. That's yes. You turn on the radio and there's that voice. It sounds the same now as it did. We have a clip from 1974, his first basketball season. Still sounds the same.
And everybody has their favorite Don Fischer moments. Everybody has their favorite calls. You've got the big famous ones, obviously, but everybody's got their favorites that they have in their heart and their brain and their memory for one reason or another. And that's what makes this documentary so special. Again, we're talking with Mark Alesia, who is the documentarian of the timeless documentary. It premieres this Friday for all Indiana fans. I want to continue this conversation in just a moment, talk about who's involved with this documentary, what fans can expect to see and hear during this documentary. And of course, I'm going to ask Mark his favorite Don Fischer call of all time. We have more of that coming up in just a moment here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. This bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. There are more live events than ever worth seeing right now. Games, concerts, comedy shows, festivals. The hard part isn't deciding what you want to go to. It's actually getting tickets to those events, because between the long wait times, the confusing checkout processes, and those surprise fees, buying tickets can sometimes feel harder than it should. That's why so many fans, myself included a long time ago, are turning to Game Time. The app is built to make buying tickets simple, with upfront pricing, seat views before you buy, and exclusive savings opportunities that help you get to the events you want without the usual hassle. And look, I use it for everything: concerts, sporting events, comedy shows, theater, musicals, whatever you want to do, wherever you are, Game Time has the tickets for you. And the process is super simple. You know you're going to get the best price. You know you're going to get the best deal. And it really is so simple. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to every type of event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Okay, download the Game Time app today. All right, welcome back to Locked On Hoosiers. Again, I'm Jacob Goins, your host, and Mark Alesia is with us today, the documentarian of the timeless documentary, talking and highlighting Don Fischer, the legendary radio voice of IU for football and basketball. It premieres this Friday, a special free screening at Assembly Hall this coming Thursday. We'll have more details at the end about all of that here in just a few moments. But Mark, other than yourself, who all is involved and has been involved with the production of this documentary? Because I highly doubt this is a one-man show. I feel like there's got to be a lot of people involved with this to make something this special come together.
If you go through the credits, there's a lot, and I'm the producer. The assistant producer is Elise Perry, who graduated from IU just this past May.
Okay.
And she has been terrific. She did a lot of the interviews, including the ones of Don's kids. And she did, we collaborated on the writing. And then the person who really gets a whole ton of credit, because I'm an old newspaper guy. And all this, when I joined WTIU, all of the television and the radio stuff's kind of new to me. And I knew that I was going to really need somebody to pick me up in terms of doing the video, editing the video.
Sure.
And Tyler Lake is the person who came in fairly late because of certain circumstances and threw himself into it. And he just did a wonderful job. And there are a whole bunch of people who helped arrange interviews. We had video. The videographer is doing a really nice job getting good backgrounds on everything.
Yeah.
Elise did a lot of research with archivists and for some old photos. And
yeah, that's cool.
But what's really fun for the old sports writer and me, it was the old clips. Hearing the old clips of Don and kind of finding the ones that there's a lot online of the huge moments. Keith Smart shot, Watt shot. You can find that, but I hope what we're going to give folks is a chance to listen to some things that maybe you can't just find by Googling a moment and Don's name.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of goes into what fans can expect when they are seeing and watching and listening to this documentary. So you kind of hit on it right there of it's not just the Watford call. You know what I mean? It's the games and football and basketball that aren't easy to find on the internet and aren't shared in highlight reels and things like that. And of course, being able to go behind the scenes with calls and moments like that. But I have to ask, what was Don's reaction when you had a chance to tell him, "Hey, we're doing this. We're going to highlight you. We're going to do this for you." What was his reaction when you guys told him about this documentary?
I didn't tell him. I asked him.
Okay.
I didn't. I very humbly asked him if he would participate, and he didn't ask for this. He didn't need it, of course.
Right. That's not who he is.
But that's not who he is. He was just a gentleman. I happened to live about a half mile away from him, and we've been over to his house a few times. We shot in his basement, and he was just such a gentleman and very patient. And I remember when I first posed it to him, he said, "Why would anybody want to do a documentary about me?" And my reaction was, "How in the heck hasn't somebody done this?" Now, in fairness, there was a very nice video when he went into the Broadcasters Hall of Fame. IU did a very nice tribute and for 50 years, his 50th season at halftime of a basketball game. I think Big Ten Network might have done a 5 or 10 minute thing on him.
Yeah, that
was really good. But there was nothing that was trying to pull everything together. And we showed, Alesia and I went to his house last Friday and showed it to him Friday morning. And I think he said that he really liked it, and he was glad that it was going to be out there for his family to see when he's not around. And that made us feel really good about things. And there were some parts in there that made him a little teary-eyed. And
with his family being involved, I can imagine.
I would have been that way too, no doubt. And you'll sort of see when folks see the documentary, that will certainly come out. And it's just been a joy. Just been a joy to do, and I can't wait for IU fans to see it. It's such an exciting time now too. I mean, here we are almost, getting ready for to defend a undefeated national championship season. And
I think this is perfect timing. I really do. I think this is perfect timing. A week before the season begins for football, you get to premiere something like this.
And he's still doing it, and it's not easy. I mean, during that whole football run last year, during the playoffs, he's still doing basketball.
Yeah, traveling and doing it all. Yep.
I mean, I wish I had as much energy now, let alone when I'm his age, if I even get there. But he's amazing. We show him golfing too. He's got a nice golf swing. Not that I'm any kind of golf expert, but you just see the guy and you think, geez, he's going to be 80 years old in
wild
2 weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, it is. What else is amazing is in the trailer that is on the website about this documentary, there's a couple of snippets of people and guests and interviews, one of them being Bob Costas, which I think is super, super cool. I mean, the fact that you've got broadcasting fellow broadcasters and fellow broadcasting Hall of Famers in this thing and understanding and recognizing Don's legacy. I mean, for me as a fellow broadcaster, I think that's really, really cool.
Bob Costas, actually that interview was part of another interview for a WTIU documentary about a guy named John Miley, whose collection of an amazing decades and decades of old radio play-by-play calls. I did the interview with Costas, but I wasn't. I had just joined the station actually at that time, and they needed me to go out to New York to interview him. And Costas was great, of course, but in the middle of that, we just started talking about Don, and I think that probably contributed to you were asking about the moment. I thought, well, we ought to do this, certainly. I mean, and Bob Costas's comments about Don are just so on the mark. So, I mean, he talks about how a broadcaster like Don, who has this connection with generations and generations of IU fans, has a connection that's different than any network broadcaster.
For sure.
And because they're different roles, and Don has developed that for 54 years.
Yeah,
his mom just turned 100. Isn't that something?
Wow. How about that? Wow, that's a blessing. That is amazing.
We have a 5-generation picture in
That's
there,
really cool. That is really, really cool. Yeah,
including Don.
those are special things again that you don't get outside of a documentary like this, where people like yourself and your team and everybody involved put in the work and the research and the coordination. I mean, I can't even imagine what that looked like on the back end to get people in the right place at the right time. And you know what I mean? Like I commend you guys for doing that, because that in itself is a lot of work.
I appreciate that, and really Don himself took the time to find old pictures, to have us over to his house, dragging in all of the lights and cameras and everything, and putting up with everybody, just all the time it takes to set up. And then me, verifying things. Is this really this person? Is this picture correct? And do you have audio of your chair toss? Which he does, of the chair toss, not your chair. No, Don didn't throw a chair. I think it was a coach named Knight who did
yes.
And that's in there too. Don's call of
that's cool. Chair. That's cool. Well, that leads me into my next question before we get into the final details, and again the premiere and the special showing and things like that. Mark, I have to ask your favorite Don Fischer caller. Maybe you have a couple throughout the years. Again, you've talked about a lot of the moments you were there for and have gone back and listened to. Do you have a specific one that sits in your heart more than the others?
I do. Well, there are two of them I covered. One for the Daily Student. Mm-hmm. And that was the upset of #1 North Carolina in the '84 NCAA tournament, where Jordan had 13 points, but that represented a heck of a defensive effort, and I was there.
That was a win in itself.
And I was thrilled because I got 2 more paid nights in Atlanta as a junior at IU.
That's awesome.
And then Keith Smart's shot, I covered that for
that's cool.
The Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette.
That's awesome.
But watch shot. The watch shot is Don's call of that. Well, it was just it captured the moment so well. That's the one.
It was just so raw. You know what I mean? It was just so, and as a broadcaster, you don't get many of those very often. And when you do, you don't even think, again, you just let it go and you are literally just reacting in the moment. And that's exactly what he did.
Don, that's what Don, we discuss the art of play-by-play, and Don says exactly that. Nothing scripted. You just react.
Yeah.
And Don being Don, it's genuine, and it works. And it's worked for 54 seasons.
Yeah, it's worked for a long time. And again, there's a reason that he has won the Indiana State Broadcaster of the Year 32 times, I believe is that number. 32 times and 2,200 games called. I mean, it's a remarkable, legendary career that continues for Don Fischer. And so really excited for this documentary, again, called Timeless: Don Fischer's Half-Century Broadcasting IU Sports. Mark Alesia, we really appreciate you joining us here on Locked On Hoosiers. Tell the folks again everything they need to know, the special preview and screening on Thursday at Assembly Hall, and then the nationwide premiere on Friday.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you, Jacob, for having me on. I appreciate it, and I love talking about this stuff, obviously. I guess you would call it the premiere. We're not calling it that, but it's a sneak peek or whatever, is at Assembly Hall, free, 7 o'clock Thursday, the 27th. And then the next day, Friday, the 28th, at 6:30 p.m., it'll be on WTIU. And then I believe over the weekend, we'll have it posted online.
Okay.
And starting next week, any public television station would have access to it. And I don't know a whole lot about how this works, but I have a hunch that every station in Indiana will air it at some point. and probably Chicago and Louisville too, with all the alums around there. So, and who knows, maybe even beyond that. And then the Alumni Association is going to encourage people to show it during their regional gatherings. The IU Alumni Club of Los Angeles and Denver, and all those.
Cool. Well, I think, again, it's a special time and a perfect time to release this a week before the football season starts. And again, it'll be a special showing Thursday at Assembly Hall. Friday, it will be available over the weekend online if you're unable to catch it on those 2 days. Again, timeless. Don Fischer's half-century broadcasting IU sports. And one of the main guys behind that is Mark Alesia. Man, we really appreciate your time. Good luck, and congratulations again on this premiering this week. It's a big deal. You and your team should be excited. You should be proud. And I hope the best for when it releases this week.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.